So let's have a look at one example of a front. And these are vertical transects, vertical cuts, observations of the vertical structure. Okay? And the top image shows you the salinity field as one example. Salinity field. Okay, because you learned before that salinity and temperature determine the density field, and then you can choose. Sometimes you can see the frontal structure better in the salinity field. And this is illustrated here. Okay, and you can see on the x-axis, okay, is distance, horizontal distance. Okay? And you learned that 1 degree is about 100 kilometers. So you can see that there is a 100 kilometers, the horizontal scale here, between 36 and 37 degrees. And the vertical range is from the surface to 400 meters. And you learned that there's an euphotic zone, and the typical thickness of the surface, or it reaches to a depth of about 50 meters. Okay? So that's where phytoplankton grows, in the euphotic zone. All right. Hey, good. So let's see. Now, front. What is a front? It's a horizontal rapid change in density, and you can see it in the salinity. Here in the top, you can see horizontally there is a big change between, you can see in the color, there's orange on one side and dark blue on the other side. And here are the values. You can see that the salinity changes by about 1 unit. Okay? It's a big change. On the right, you can also see here is a little yellow structure. Okay? A little yellow structure here. Okay? And this could be actually a signature of an eddy. Okay? This one here might be an eddy that you can. Okay? So now on the bottom image is actually shows you something that's called fluorescence, but it's a measure of the chlorophyll A concentrations in the water. Okay? And you can see that there's this tongue, yellow-orange tongue of elevated fluorescence or elevated chlorophyll A concentration, and it's moved downward. This is the downwelling signature. It comes from the surface and is moved downward. It does not do anything to the marine ecosystems because the plankton is removed. Maybe there is some zooplankton that can dive down to that depth and benefit from the subsurface phytoplankton. But the most action actually takes place near the surface. And if you look closely, you can actually see a broad zone of elevated chlorophyll A concentrations. And this broad zone of enhanced production is actually related to the eddies that the fronts generate. Okay, so here you can see this is from the Western Mediterranean Sea. If you're interested in that, you can see evidence of a frontal zone, enhancement of primary production, and you can see the downwelling. Okay, so this is a little bit of a trick. The downwelling you can't see in the salinity, because if you follow this pattern here, if you follow it in the salinity field, you actually move along the same colors. You can't see any signature of it. Okay, so the downwelling actually occurs along isopycnals, where water is essentially pumped into the ocean interior. Not very deep in this example here, to a depth of 200 meters.